What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Filsinger Games Character Spotlight with Mike and Brock.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Brock. And today we are talking about two more classic Champions of the Galaxy characters. And we're entering the War Games 2091 set with Count Necros and the Guardsman.
Yep.
So,
I became a big fan of Count Necros.
Yeah, I was going to say he's one of your favorites, isn't he?
And I don't know why.
He's kind of cool.
I think probably at that point in time, I was really big into Anne Rice.
Okay, makes sense. I was happy to see him because it brought like a fantasy, more of a fantasy element into the game.
And I've always been a fan of horror.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that was like, a living, breathing vampire.
For sure. Which is cool.
And so I used them. I remember every year at Galacticon, we used to have a who's going to get drafted into the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
So every year I would put Necros down and I tried to get people to vote for him.
Uh-huh.
And the one year I got him in. And Mark Ashby was like, no.
That's not cool. Well, he's still active, so would he even qualify for the Hall of Fame?
No, he only in GWF lore, he only wrestled for like 6 years or something like that in the files, GWF files. I don't know if Tom's ever brought him back.
Yeah, he came back recently.
Oh,
yeah, he's there now. I think he's still around.
And I know I had such a big influence on it because Tom, re-released him as Necros.
Uh-huh.
And he, gave him a big upgrade and everything.
Yeah, I forget what year he came back. It was recently. In the past 10 years or so, I guess.
Did he get a new card?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep, full color, Daryl Banks art. The works.
Nice.
Forget what set he came back in, though. But yeah, definitely a cool character.
He's always done well for me, but he's one of these guys that can never hold a title.
Yeah, I could see that.
He captured one title, and that's when I had the EWA, which was a smaller kind of, when the GWF was so big, I broke it up early because wrestlers weren't retiring.
Yeah.
So I made a smaller fed, and he won the EWA tag title. And I don't remember who he won it with. But yeah, one time. That's it. That's his only belt, a small minor league tag title.
It's okay. Yeah, I'm looking at his card here. Finisher of Phantom Dust is kind of lame.
Yeah.
He blew dust into the opponent's eyes.
I used it as more of a kabuki.
Okay, like a mist.
Kabuki, where he misted people.
That'd be cooler.
Yeah.
Could even be blood.
I used a red mist, not a green one. But that's how I did it. He'd miss people.
That makes sense. So yeah, he came in as part of the royal court.
Yep. Which fit. He's a count, an count, a king, a queen, a jester.
Mm-hmm.
And a royal overlord.
Yep, whatever that is. Yeah, I don't remember him doing very much for me. This is around the time where I was just trying to get caught up, so I was just running really quick years.
Yeah.
And they all kind of run together. But yeah, I don't remember him doing a whole lot. I remember always liking him though. But just not really doing a whole lot for me. We were a big royal court family.
What was the power and agility now? Was he a 0-0?
Yep.
So good, I can remember this.
I can't even remember the cards that I use every week that I made myself.
I said I could have been a doctor if I would have put my brain and memory towards schooling, but no.
This was more
I
important.
memorized hockey, hockey stats, baseball stats, and GWF wrestling stats.
Hey, at least your priorities were in the right place.
None of those things helped me out in real life, but
It made you look really cool at Galacticon.
I even got the, first ever GWF trivia champ right here.
Yeah, there you go.
Take that, Pete Fusco.
Ooh.
No one can take that away from me. I was the first.
Good stuff.
But yeah, I still use him. I did upgrade his card
Mm-hmm.
to the Necros card that Randy Bugdale did.
Yeah. I could show that here. Hold on a second.
Oh, that's online?
Yeah, I can show a picture of it. There we are.
And he definitely had an upgraded back. He's doing better. But he just couldn't. He's one of these guys that just couldn't get wins sometimes.
Mm-hmm. I have that card. I was at Galactican 4.
No, you weren't.
Where'd I get it from then?
I probably give it to you.
Which Galactican was I at?
Tom did make a bunch.
1 and 2, maybe. I don't know.
I think you're at the first 2. Galactican 4. The only people who made it were all the guys from Guelph, Steve Vanderberg, and a bunch of those guys.
Okay.
Claire. That's where the coffin match came from.
Okay.
And Ed Davis came down, Randy Bugdale.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I definitely wasn't there.
Yeah, that was the only con. Randy came. And we ordered pizza and sat around and drank beer at a table. And Steve Vanderberg had created the coffin match. So Tom was like, hey, I really like this. Let's play test it. And so every tournament was a coffin match. Every match for a whole weekend was. So that match got play tested the hell out of.
Those are long matches too. So I give you guys credit for that. Because doesn't you have to have 12? Your pin has to reach 12 before you can even be thrown into the coffin.
I've never used it since then.
Okay.
I honestly can't remember.
Well, I just happen to have the ringside companion right here.
Oh, good product placement.
Yeah, look at this. Keep talking.
Okay, I was just thinking about we should probably shrink this down.
You want me to close? I can end this.
I actually just tried. I'm like, maybe no, I can't do that.
I'm in control.
But with Necros, it's funny because he just beat Paragon in a feud.
Oh wow, that's impressive.
But it was the only matches he won all year. He'd face against anybody, he'd lose. Go against Paragon, he win. So he got sent down to the CPC.
Okay.
He didn't have enough points. He was one of the bottom point guys. The only matches he could win was his feud guy, but he couldn't win anything else. So he beat Paragon, which is complete and utter shock.
Yeah, because Paragon's pretty tough.
Yep. And I got him teaming up with Incubus from the NGO set.
Nice.
I call them the undead because they're both vampires.
Makes sense to me. Yeah. Your pin has to reach a 10 before you can be thrown into the coffin.
Oh, okay.
So that's the official rule here. I was looking for it in the Champions of the Galaxy side. They moved it to the Legends side of things.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Because they just had a coffin match on AEW programming a couple weeks ago. So
yeah, he started off feuding Pit Viper, beat him, then Pit Viper became Dragon Master, drew against him, then Killer Queen, and he feuded Killer Queen for a few years, back and forth.
Nice.
But yeah, as careers go, he's about as vanilla as mayonnaise. He just, it's an incredibly boring career. He's done nothing. I don't know why I love the guy so much.
He's a vampire.
But like I said,
Space vampire.
Yeah. Oh, don't even get me going on that movie. I can't even remember what that's called. There's a space vampire movie out there.
Remember Rune from Malibu Comics?
Yep.
He had the Infinity Gauntlet for a while with the Ego Stone. I should bring him back.
I'm trying to remember the space vampire movie.
I can't. I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of what it's called.
Life Force.
That's it. Yep. I have that on DVD.
Matilda May. Was a vampire. We all went, oh. Anybody who's ever seen it knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'll still continue to use him. I have no plans to retire him because for me, he's an immortal vampire.
Yeah, he's not going to age at all. That's why he's still around in the current GWF too, and he's still fairly good too.
Well, they said he's from Proplanius or something like that.
Yeah, which is part of Draco, I think.
And they said his race can live a long time or something like that. So
it makes sense.
He plans on being around for a long time.
His new card plays up the vampire stuff a little more too, which is nice. I wish I would have remembered to bring that down. I'd have to find it though, but
how would you improve?
Looking at his card here, I would take one of the hurts off of level 2 defense and make it a dazed. Because he has all hurts and then 2 comebacks.
Yeah.
Just to slow the opponent down a little bit.
I might remove one of his downs on level 3.
Okay.
Because he's a vampire, he's supposed to be tough to keep down.
Makes sense. His DQ is a 6. That's pretty high, but he's a bad guy, so he'll get DQ'd a lot. It makes sense.
He's got a +2 finisher, so it's not.
Yeah.
It's decent enough to get him some wins. 3-pin.
Yep. His offense is, standard.
Yep. His ratings are a bunch of Bs.
Yep, and an A on death jump though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's got a pretty decent mid-level card.
Yeah. Okay, he was a 3-point wrestler for me.
Yeah, he's not bad.
He just couldn't and still can't get the big win.
Count Necros, everybody.
He's reduced down into the whole CPC, so he might see some gold down there.
There you go. I do like how he's drawn just like a classic, movie vampire with a big cape with the,
the Bela Lugosi.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
It works.
Oh, yeah. And actually, here's something. When I started my, when I first, I shared my Fed with my buddy Rob for years.
And
then when I went to a Galacticon, Tom gave me a deal of a lifetime.
Yeah.
If I would buy all the sets. Like the first 4 sets or something like that. So I said, sure. I went home and I held tournaments for all my titles. And I remember Bounty Hunter winning the heavyweight title, and my Intergalaxian title was won by Count Necros. That could be the reason why. And then I ran that promotion for about a month, and then I'm like, I don't like this because all these guys who should have done stuff aren't, because there's no history.
Right, you just passed over them.
Yep. And so that's why I restarted my Fed.
That's the trouble I got myself into, because again, in my first Galacticon, Tom gave me a deal of a lifetime. And I got caught up for it was 20 sets that we got caught up on, because we had only had the starter set and a handful of special edition cards, when we got there, and yeah, we got current with what was out because of the deal we were given. So we just bought it all. I remember that ride home very vividly, like just like flipping through the cards. Like I had a stack like this high of cards, and handbooks and stuff. Because we got everything that was available to get current.
That's the one thing I loved going to the cons for.
Yeah,
Was
deep discounts.
You got the deep discounts. Hear that, Mike Molesky? Good discounts.
You gotta love deep discounts.
Yep. Tom, he found a way to get us, give us our crack.
Yeah, and the difference between
us along.
Yeah, and also the difference between black and white and color printing is astronomical in cost as well too. So
yeah,
I'm sure that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always would remember that. And then because we were so far behind, we would just wait until Galacticon every year to get caught up.
That's what I did.
Everything that came out. But now, like, they pump out so much stuff that I buy it or I'll never get caught up. I'll buy it as it comes out.
Yeah, so just so it's not as big as a damage on the checkbook.
Yeah, because and it's great. The content
probably like 8 sets a year or something like that.
Yeah, and plus Promoter Prime and things like that. So it's a lot of stuff to get. It's funny whenever you get the quarterly. It's now quarterly releases, but there's usually one for each line. So the envelope's like this thick, 25, 30 cards each time.
Yeah. But we can move along to the Guardsman.
Mm-hmm. There he is, the Guardsman
with the infamous bite to the head.
Yes.
The reason why it's infamous because his mouth is stapled shut.
Mm-hmm. What a miserable looking man.
Yep.
But I guess if my mouth was stapled shut, I'd be mad too.
Well, what was his distractor? An 8?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which had to be the best at the time.
Yeah. And as a manager, he was top notch.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't dig his card out. I don't know if even if he's got his if I don't know if if I kept him as Fury. Yeah, because Fury was a horrible wrestler. I hated wrestling with him.
Oh yeah.
The Guardsman as a manager. Yeah, I for some reason I don't have a card for him.
Uh-oh.
I might have misplaced it.
No.
Because he's probably one of the reasons why the Gladiators had that 30 card run.
Yeah, that 8 distractor rating is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah. So he definitely helped him out.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I'd use him in matches every so often.
Yeah.
Because
he's not.
He was one of the guys. He was a manager, but he could wrestle.
Most of the managers had wrestling stats then.
Yeah, but he wasn't horrible.
No, he could do some stuff. He had a high pin rating, but other than that, standard lower level guy.
Yep. He
-3 power. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, for a manager, that was huge.
Mm-hmm.
But you'd almost expect it out of a gladiator.
Yeah.
But then you find out he's not a gladiator. He was a prisoner of war.
Mm-hmm.
Which, to this day, I still find weird that, yeah, he's a prisoner of war. They're carting him around, and everybody's like, nah, that's cool.
Yeah.
They've literally sewn the man's mouth shut on galaxy-wide television,
mm-hmm.
trotting him out as a prisoner of war, and people are like, nah, we're good. Like some of these storylines I don't think were thought out fully.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be this evil war-torn race of people,
But I still don't think you're allowed to bring them on national television and
intergalactic television.
yeah, intergalactic television, and then just flaunt them.
Look at this guy. Yeah, I'm looking at his official bio here, and it says he had his mouth stitched shut, a move designed to humiliate prisoners.
Yeah. So I used him a lot. When he came out, for me, that was the split between the gladiators and bounty hunter.
Yeah, he could fill that space.
Because I had it where the gladiators, they hung out with bounty hunter, but for some of that reason was because they needed a manager, and Leonard Beguile fit that. And then when they brought in their own, they're like, yeah, we don't need this guy anymore.
Yeah.
And they kind of just, just moved bounty hunter off to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a friend.
Yeah. It's great.
That's what he became.
Yeah, makes sense. It's a big dude, big imposing guy.
Yeah, and it's not like Leonard Beguile's going to get into a fight with him over the rights to who could manage the gladiators, because he'd die.
Right.
But yeah, as manager goes, there's not a whole lot I did with him other than manage, because my managers didn't wrestle that often.
Yeah.
I know with the Guardsman, I'd use them sometimes. And I think he got into some fights with Reptillo.
Okay. Those would be good matches, though, honestly.
Yeah, there's no feud.
Uh-huh.
But I think I did a couple War Games type style things.
Yeah.
And that's who I brought in to balance out against Reptillo.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's not like we were doing the War Games, where you had Hawk, Animal, Dusty Rhodes and Lex Luger and Sting versus Tully, Arn, Rick, and James J. Dillon. Gee, wonder who's going to submit in that case.
Exactly. Which guy's here just to get beat? Did the Horsemen ever win War Games?
No. I've been listening to the Arn podcast.
Uh-huh.
And their job was to win on TV and lose on house shows.
Okay.
Because then it kept the fans happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
they irritate them up on television.
Yeah.
And then they lose at house shows, and people were okay with it. Hey. But it's their job, and that's what they knew.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It was a different time then, where everything wasn't televised.
Yeah.
Or on the internet.
But our topic is actually kind of goes along with what Roll Up is talking about.
Okay.
And that is, how do you go about drafting a Fed? Now, for some of us, I use a point system, but I said at the end of every few years I change how I do it.
Yeah.
And so at the end of this year, I'm going to go back into my draft system.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll lay every wrestler out, and I will draft 40 wrestlers to my GWF, 40 wrestlers to my NGA, and then all the leftovers go to the CPC.
And there's no cap there, right?
No.
Okay.
And how am I going to draft? And sorry if people watching this at home, if I'm moving around, I pinched a nerve in my neck, so it's incredibly painful. So I got to keep moving because it hurts to literally just sit still.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm in the same boat right now. My post-COVID abdominal pain from coughing for 3 weeks straight. I can't sit still either. So.
And it's funny because I'm just sitting there like, whoa, extreme close up.
I keep doing that too. Then I'll be way back here, like, oh, I'm just dying here. We're in good shape here.
How do you get old? Actually, I think I hurt myself doing a push-up.
It's better than me. I cough.
And but when I do draft guys, I look Now, the GWF, I do want the best of the best, so I'm not going to be drafting, you know, low tier guys. Like I'm not going to draft, you know, the penthouse punks.
Yeah.
But when I draft somebody, so excuse me, I will draft 20 villains and 20 heroes.
Okay.
And they have to match up well against each other. You know, I'm not going to have, you know, Matador and have and like, who's Matador going to face? Well, I really like Matador, so you know he's going to, you know, face Mace.
Yeah.
And
Makes
Mace
sense.
is going to get a production, you know, a promotion into the FTF. No, that's not going to work with me.
He's still Mace.
So they got to have still top, you know, top guys, but I need them to work and blend in.
Makes sense. I actually just split up my my streaming fed because I realized I had like 60 characters that have somehow found their way there.
That's because people keep getting hurt, so you keep bringing guys in.
Exactly. Then I don't want to get rid of them. So I'm going to have to do something soon to trim the fat because I had just as many guys inactive as active this past week. And I'm like, I don't like that. There's too many people just sitting around.
Yeah.
So what I did was everybody who's in groups, I split the groups up. Like I have like 2 top groups, the top hero group and the top villain group put on this side. And then on the other side, so I unofficially split the roster in 2. So there's like 30 on each side. And then I put the second tier hero and villain group together on the other side. So then those are the headlines of each separate show. And then I put the higher stacked singles guys with the lower tiered teams just for balance there and vice versa. Just to, you know, try and maintain balance. But I do like to try and keep the same of good guys and bad guys. I think that's important.
Yep.
And I need to start doing a better job at defining that. Like have the bad guys act like bad guys and the good guys act like good guys.
Now, you don't have a gray area.
No. If you watch my streaming fed, this very moment right now, everybody's a shade of gray. Yeah. Everybody.
Well, I've watched it many times.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes I don't know who's who.
Right. And it's not very well. And that's somebody else. I think Derek said it this week. He's like, you're not following your own handbooks. I go, I know. Sorry.
Like, I don't know who's booking this thing, but it's
who's booking this? But yeah, that's something like we had talked a couple weeks ago how I want to make the story more important instead of just rolling matches to roll matches.
Yep.
That's what I'm making an effort to do now.
Yeah, see, and when I do it, I'm like, so, you know, if I draft, because I look at it right now, I have Grunge and what's Dreg's brother's name?
Sleaze.
So I got them in the same. They actually, Grunge and Sleaze did quite well, and they moved up in points.
Mm-hmm.
So they're now in the GWF, and I let it slip that they are brothers.
Okay.
So at some point, I am gonna have Sleaze join with War, and
okay,
going to be kind of left out on the own. And so, what will I do with Grunge? I don't know. But you know, I have Mason Jack of Diamonds as a tag team.
Ooh, I like that team.
And they are like, they took Matador and Chaos to the limit. These guys have done quite well, and they just got teamed up because of, you know, Mace got sent down to the sent down, like Dregs and Mace got split up because Dregs didn't have enough points.
Uh-huh.
So he got shipped to the drop one more, and Jack of Diamonds is like, I don't have a tag partner. Hey, you want to hang out? And they won, like, you know, 3 tag titles and got a bunch of points, moved back up, and those guys aren't doing good. But I'm like, do I want to break them up? I'm like, I don't know. I kind of like them.
Yeah, I always like Jack of Diamonds. Underrated, I think.
It is. But it's one of those things when you draft a Fed now, because they're going to draft it every year. So, guys will, guys can change.
Yeah.
Like, okay, next year, do I make, if I split them up, does Grunge not get picked and Grunge drop a level down?
Mm-hmm.
Or do I just get rid of Grunge?
Yeah.
Send him straight down to, he goes from GWF right down to CC.
Yeah. See ya.
Even though he's got a tag finisher, but if I
find
can't find anybody that I think can fit with him.
Yeah. You should be able to with all the guys you have there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the CPC, yeah. And then, I plan on bringing Spike back. So Spike's, he's going to get drafted.
Cool.
Right into the GWF.
You going to use Cronus Spike?
Not yet.
Okay.
But, I do have a plan for Cronus wrestlers to come in, but they're not going to be drafted. It's just going to be a literal invasion.
Makes sense.
And that way the heroes and villains on both sides can team up against the outside invasion.
Yeah, they would have to because they're tough.
So and then the Cronus guys will not get managers. Just
okay.
Level the playing field just a bit.
Yeah, just a bit. Yeah, that makes sense because they don't need any help.
But when I had a store at one point, a comic book store, and we did a draft.
Mm-hmm.
So there were 6 of us, and we're like, let's run a Fed. And so we did a dice roll.
Okay.
And whoever won, and we did it snake. So 1 to 6 and 7 through 12, and we did.
Yeah.
So if you got first pick, you got 12th pick.
Okay, makes sense.
And I remember being somewhere in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't get Thanos, but I think my first pick was Massive.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of my favorite guys. And my second pick I remember was Lord Nexus. I'm like, ooh, Massive and Lord Nexus is a tag team. And they won the tag titles.
That's a fun team though.
In this mixed up, promotion.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody drew, I think it was 4 wrestlers. And we could have up to 6. That's what we had in our heads.
Okay.
And so we would wrestle 10 cards and then introduce a new set.
Oh, that's cool.
And so, and you could trade for draft picks. So you're like, hey, my stable, I'd like Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and the person's like, okay, but I want your first pick overall in the next year's draft.
That's cool.
And that's, and we did stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I remember because I drafted, my team was Massive, Lord Nexus, Pulsar, and I think I got Executioner.
Okay.
And everybody's like, and I picked Pulsar 3rd. People are like, why are you picking Pulsar? And I'm like, oh, I know why.
Things are changing.
The other people didn't know that the guys advance.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember my next pick, I remember picking up a manager later on. People are like, you're picking a manager? Oh, yeah. Because managers counted. So it's one of your 6.
Okay.
And so guys were getting picked and drafted, but that's another way, we did a draft.
Mm-hmm. That's fun. We did something similar at the comic book store I worked at. We tried starting in, I think, whenever Future Shock came in, they brought Chaos back and all those guys. We drafted a Fed, but just couldn't find time to play together. But we did something similar to that. Everybody had their little stable of guys. Yeah, it was fun. Playing with other people was so much fun.
And we did it every Saturday.
Nice.
Every Saturday, I think it went from 12 to 2. So it was 2
Okay.
hours.
It's not bad.
And you had to defend your titles twice a month.
Okay.
Because there were times you couldn't make it down. And you're playing with a bunch of younger kids sometimes, like.
Yeah.
I think 3 of the guys were 16, between 14 and 16.
Okay.
They're going to want to have lives.
Right.
And yeah, we kept it up for about a year.
That's cool. Yeah, ours did not last that long. Maybe 4 or 5 weeks. But
And then I did something similar where I did a draft, but inside my own promotion, I did a War Games draft
that's cool.
where every manager had to draft their team.
Hmm.
And I literally had to pretend like, okay, Royal Overlord, who are you drafting? Well, he's drafting Thantos first overall because, you know, he wants to make sure he wins.
Okay.
Okay, then who's it? You know, and Solaris, who are you drafting? Well, Solaris drafted first overall Lance Atlas. And then, you know, they follow it up. He drafted his Octagon. That's where I got the idea for the Supreme Gods because they worked out well.
Yeah.
And so I was just randomly drafting guys on teams. And so, you know, drafts can be fun.
Hmm.
I really enjoyed doing it.
That just gave me an idea. I'm filing that away for streaming later.
Do an online draft.
No, I got an idea for an event I'll run.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's many different ways you can, you know, do drafts.
Hmm.
As I was saying, you know, I did ran a draft in a War Games, where you know the managers drafted different guys,
Yeah.
but on the downside of it, the managers didn't stick to their own groups because the losing manager got suspended for 1 year,
That's a big deal.
and so you know that was a huge deal. So you know it was like roll over, oh, I'll draft Thantos, and then you know next round he's like, I'm gonna draft Massacre.
Yeah.
You know, rest of the Royal Court's out.
Killer Queen's all upset.
Killer Queen, Bishop Hell's going, hey, what about me? I need a tag guy because you know they needed. I think there was 5 guys in a group,
Hmm.
and they had to battle for each title.
Okay.
So you had to battle for the heavyweight, the Intergalaxian, the tag titles, and the Milky Way title. So you needed one jobber on your team.
Okay.
So it was just so everybody got some form of, you know,
Yeah.
involved.
Hmm.
So it used up all 5 guys. So they had to figure out a guy, you know, who's going to be their tag guys.
Hmm.
3 are going to be their singles.
That's cool.
And
I
that's
might do something like that. That's interesting. I like that.
So like I said, there's many ways you can do drafts.
Yeah.
And
It all depends on how many people, like how many cards you want to use too.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to, if you have a big Fed, then you want your top, middle, lower tier guys. But if you're a smaller Fed, I would just go with straight up cream of the crop, you know?
Yep. Well, that's what I'm doing for my 3 Fed draft. That's what I'll be doing.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking the guys who you think are going to win, and that'll work together as teams.
Yeah.
Which I said, I got a feeling, you know, at the end of at the start of 2106, Grunge is going to be on the outside going, "Hey, schoolyard pick," and he's still over there.
Poor
Hey,
Grunge.
They're at 40.
Aw.
So he'll be, you know, he won't be picked.
Aw.
Just as a heads up, yeah, Grunge isn't getting picked. He's going to get picked.
I think it'd be fun to draft a Legends Fed that way.
Well, yeah, the Uncharted guys have done that.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be fun. That'd be a good time.
And they make rules like you can't draft the Road Warriors, you can't draft Andre.
Okay.
So they do have some rules, and I can't remember how many guys they put on their teams.
Mm-hmm. I don't think the Road Warriors are that broken.
No,
Andre is though. And
you should be for.
yeah, he never
who
lost.
back then.
Oh, excuse me, I'm just gonna die here on the video here. And he never really hung around the territory until Vince bought everybody up.
Yeah,
he kind of just went around.
But we can wrap this up here.
Alrighty. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening and watching. Please like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends what we're doing here. And check out our friends who are doing stuff in the links below. We've got several podcasts, including Roll Up from the Filsinger Games team. The Legends team has Uncharted Territory. There we go. I can speak. Dizzy Dice from Lee Longpre. There's a few YouTube links there from Grant. Dave Little, he has a Legends Fed that he runs live. Check them out. A lot of good Filsinger Games content, and there's some other things listed there too. And if you have any Filsinger Games related content that you've created online and would like us to share it in our links, please send it to one of us and we'll make sure it gets in there. Because we like to spread the wealth, or not the wealth, the word. There's no money to be made.
Why am I not getting my cut in this YouTube money industry?
Right? We're only about 930 subscribers away from being able to monetize.
In the next week, normally we don't advertise what we're doing the following week.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to be bringing in some guys from Uncharted Territory and the Legends guys.
Nice.
We're going to be talking NWA.
There you go. That's a Fed I know a little bit about.
Yeah, with Tim Dalton and Stu Lowry.
That'll be a good time. I haven't talked to either one of those guys in quite some time.
Yeah, it has been, I'd say 15 years probably since I talked to Stu.
Okay.
And only a few months since I talked to Tim.
Nice. Good stuff. Yeah, I'd like to catch up with those guys for sure.
Yep.
So tune in for that. That's going to be same time next week.
Yep.
Until then, have a great one, everybody.
Night, everyone.